Sorry I'm late. I was on time and I turned on everything and the camera wasn't working. On my, I'm using the camera on my iMac. So I had to start from scratch, reboot, and of course now it was working. But it wasn't working in anything. I tried photo booth and other things to see if the camera would kick on and it just didn't kick on. So I don't know why. It'd been on, I left the computer on all weekend and wasn't even, I worked Saturday morning on it, but then didn't touch it again until this morning, so that probably messed it up a little bit. Let's see what else is going on. So I've got a blank screen here. I'm gonna upload a bunch of crud right now. So I'm gonna show you all three of the scales we're gonna use, and we're gonna do what's called positional plane. So we're gonna stick in one position. It's not because it's the best way to play at all. It's only because it's one of the best ways to learn three different keys in the same location and force yourself to kind of learn in a certain space and use these specific scales. I could probably, I haven't uploaded that blues. What was it? The blues I was going to upload, right? I haven't done that yet. Let me see. I'm tempted to, what's a tempo on that? 80. I'm tempted to slow it down. See bar? I could technically slow it down to like 60. Or what I could also do is I could keep it at 80 and then double the length of every section. So instead of technically being a 12-bar blues, it would be a 24-bar blues, but instead of only being a bar in G and a bar in C, it would be 2 bars of G, 2 bars of C. That would make it like you'd have more time to kind of get settled in the scale before you have to move on to the next one. Let's see, hold on a second. I'll say hellos in a second. Let me get a couple diagrams up here. All right. First off, now I'm not going to do the... I love that diagram. Okay, that's, all right. So let's see, let's add an image slideshow. Hey, I could do that. Well, what would that be like if I added an image slideshow? Do I select 3 images and then I add? Yeah. Nah, I'm not going to do that. I'll do that on my own time. Oh, my back. Let's see. I had a fever last night. I was like, oh, I got the COVID. And then I took some NyQuil, slept solid through the night. Now I feel fine. So I'm like, that was the shortest COVID ever. What am I looking for? Downloads. There we are. Oh, no, I'm looking for desktop. You guys don't know what I'm looking for. Live stream. Here we go. Okay, so here's the first one. G Mixolydian. Okay. And the red notes are the roots. The white notes are notes that are above or below the lowest root. Why can't I resize? Oh, there it is. Okay. I'm trying to resize this puppy. Okay, we're going to have 3 of these here. So And I'm going to upload them to Discord, and I'll also post the Discord link. Okay, so you can download them and put them up. I would download them and then put them on 3 different, put them on one page, print it up, and that way you've got all 3 scales right there in front of you. And this again, this will be second position. So we're doing what's called positional plane. We're going to try really hard to stick with. We're going to try really hard to stick with that second position, and hopefully I got these right. The D one's going to be a little messed up because I had to move the fret number over. So there's C Mixolydian, G Mixolydian, C Mixolydian, and then hopefully I got them right. I just did them this morning after a night of NyQuil. Last one, D Mixolydian. Okay. Where's that little tag? There it is. Okay. Boom. So this one, I may go like that. Does that make sense? That looks better. That looks pretty good. I may not look great, but maybe I can drag this a little bit so it's level there. Okay. So you see all those? Are they all within the frame of your screen? Okay, well, let me say some hellos, and then, sorry, I tried to do this before, but like I said, my camera wasn't working at first. Also, again, apologies to anyone who's watching these videos after the fact. YouTube is putting in an ad literally every 3 minutes, I think. So I have to go in and remove those, but they don't let me do that for like the first 24 hours. I can't, they're processing, air quotes, everybody take a sip. They're processing the video, and I make money from those ads, so it's not like they're doing it to screw with us. It's just that that's, for some reason, because I have my video set to monetization, they just do that, it's fine. Okay, so let me see what do we have here. Dennis, hi, Bruce. I got my moderators here. AJ, good morning. Ed. Bob Schumann, Charlie B is in the house. John in Kentucky. I'm going to vote for you tomorrow. My daughter voted for my wife. She wrote in Beth Strahle for president. Let's see. Bob, I said hi, Bob. Charlie. Oh, Mr. Benny. Tom, I apologize for not being at the new time. There are 2 oceans between us. No worries. Oh, okay. You like it too much. Laundry service is closed, Bruce. Oh, yeah. This is my outdoor sweatshirt. Third day in a row I've went, yeah, I throw this on when I'm cold. So I've got a t-shirt underneath it, so it's not like it stinks or anything. But yeah, laundry service is definitely closed. I need more sweatshirts. Yeah, NyQuil is amazing. Sometimes you just need a good night's sleep. But yeah, I had a low-grade fever, but I could feel it. And I was like going, what's going on? And I'd been around a lot of people all week. So I'm like, okay, maybe I got it this time. Let's see. Perfect kilo over NyQuil, yeah. Yeah, true that. Red vodka, orange juice for me. Okay, well, I get that. We got a consensus here in Europe. Hey, another month of work from home. Hero, where are you located? Everybody's going to be, that working from home is going to be the new norm, I'm afraid. Paul Meyer's like, thanks for the air quotes. Yeah, I know, right? I've kind of conditioned myself to touch my face when I get thirsty now. So the whole drinking game, touching your face thing is working against me. You're not supposed to touch my face. Oh, you're in San Jose. Okay, yeah. I think a lot of Californians are going to be working from home for a long time. I always have, so it doesn't really affect me, but it's a bummer for anybody who misses the camaraderie of the office. Now, I've heard both people are getting more done at home and people are getting less done at home. I've heard studies to both contrary studies. I can see where you would get more done at home because whenever I worked in an office kind of setting, it was like the guy going around to everybody's office. Hey, what's going on? What's new? What's new with you? You know, sitting out and hanging out for 20 minutes in everybody's office. That was me. I was the guy that was slowing everyone down. So. Digging this tone. All right, I probably should have done let me get a Discord link going. I probably should have done separate diagrams for the middle two strings because that's all we're going to work on today. But if you can, focus your attention on the 6 notes in each of those scales that are on the middle 2 strings, okay? Try to use your laser beam focus to focus on those 2 strings and ignore the other 2 strings. And we're going to try to kind of mess around with those and over each of the chords. And I can vamp the chords too, so that's the good thing. I can set it up so we can just play vamps on it. Okay, now I need Safari. Open up Discord. So the Discord is for most of you are probably members of the Discord. I see, how many do I see on right now? 17. Most of you are members of the Discord page already. But in case you aren't, I'm going to put right here, copy this link. This should never expire. So I'm going to put this here. And then I'm going to go to Tom's Bookmarks, and that's where I upload everything. So I'm going to upload these 3 diagrams right here. And see, Discord's cool because it remembers the last folder I opened. And I don't need to title these. They're self-explanatory. And they didn't show up in order, but that's all right. So now all 3 of those diagrams are up at Discord. You can download those, put them into like a Word doc, print that up, and now you can have it on right in front of you when you're going through this. Okay. So what I want to do today, we're not going to worry. See, that looks like a lot of information to take in. And anytime I've tried to take in too much information, I don't retain any of it. So what we're going to try to do is we're going to try to just retain a little bit of information. If you remember on Friday when I was wearing this sweatshirt, and again, like I said, this is clean. This is the same as it's been. So I got to get, like I said, I got to go pick up some more sweatshirts. I should get a sweatshirt made with, you want to, I've got to do options too. I'm going to do, on my Teespring thing, I'll do options so you can get white on black instead of just black on white. Nobody wears black on white t-shirts. So I'll do white on black t-shirts, okay? Yeah, your kids are distraction. I know, exactly. The work at home thing. Well, especially with kids at home. Soon, hopefully, my wife's a substitute teacher, and she's actually teaching right now online. She has been for several weeks now and has a couple more weeks left to go. She's been subbing for a teacher who just had a baby. So she's actually got a job this year, which is great. At the end of last year, she didn't work at all because they closed the schools and they don't need subs when everybody's working from home. So, hey, Sai. But if you remember, when we played the G7, we played here. We played the D7, we played here. We played the C7, we can play it here. Like when I pull up this groove, and on this groove, I don't have the keyboard playing. Back down. And those are the guide tones. The 7th and 3rd of the C7. Here's the 7th and 3rd of the G7. I go up a fret here on the D. Down to C. And up to G. All 3 of those shapes, it's the same shape, but in different positions. All 3 of those shapes will show up in these scales here, okay? So what we're gonna do is we're only gonna work on the middle 2 strings, the 4th and the 3rd string. So they're not gonna start on the roots. In fact, none of these are gonna be roots. They're all gonna start on the E note. But we're just gonna do a little snippet of the scale. If I try to make you do all the whole scale, you know, your eyes will glaze over. You'll get maybe the G Mixolydian, but you won't get anything else, okay? Or you may get half of the G Mixolydian, or you may get G Mixolydian and 3 notes of the C, and then your brain will stop working. So we're going to keep it real, real simple. And if you play that first snippet at the second position, second fret, first finger, second fret, that's how we know we're at second position, because wherever your first finger is assigned is playing, that's what position you're at. So if your first finger is playing the 7th fret, you're in 7th position. It's simple as that. So what we're going to do is 1, 3, 4, 1. I'm sorry, 1, 2, 4, 1, 3, 4. I was getting ahead of myself. 1, 2, 4, 1, 3, 4. And the notes are E, F, G. There's our root. A, B, C. It's basically a piece, a section of a C major scale. You can kind of tell because when you get to that C, it sounds like it resolves. But C major is the relative major to G Mixolydian. Does that make sense? So that's why it kind of sounds like a C scale. Bruce is one of the, oh yeah. Bruce is keeping track of who's regular and who's showing up. So we got that little snippet, okay? So let me just, I'm going to take this in Logic, I'm just going to take that first bar and vamp it, okay? So all of these notes, they're not all going to be perfect over it, but technically they're all, there's your root. I love the F sounds great because that's the 7th. Okay, so everybody play the B, which is the 3rd string, 4th fret. Go B, A, B. Okay, let's go A sharp B. That note, that B flat or A sharp, is out of the key, but it's a chromatic passing tone. Okay, we can even that's your minor pentatonic tone over the C. If you play that B flat, it's not part of the G Mixolydian. G Mixolydian is a diatonic scale. This would be playing like it'd be like playing the minor pentatonic in G. That would be one of the notes that would naturally occur. But if you bend it up to that B, then you hear the major tonality of the G7. You can just, or you can hammer it on. Now you'll notice that I'm not playing pure second position. If I know I'm just going to be doing that, why do it with my 2nd and 3rd finger? I can go ahead and go more dominant 1st and 2nd finger. Pros do that. You don't necessarily like, oh, I got to stick to 2nd position because that's what we're learning. No, it's like if I'm going to play the whole snippet of the scale, then yeah, I'm probably going to go to pure positional playing. Then I will stay in 2nd position. If I'm just going to hammer on the 3rd fret to the 4th fret, I don't need to use my 2nd finger. Okay, let's do the F to G. Let's do a quick chromatic passing thing. F sharp G, okay? It should be like this. Okay, now I'm going to throw the piano in there. I don't have the piano in there right now. Let me put the piano in there. Okay. Then you can hear the 7th in there. So that passing note is fine as long as you don't sit on it. That F sharp is no bueno. Not going to work if you sit on it. But if you go past it, if you use it, technically when you slide, it's there also. But you're not really hearing it. Go backwards. You can even go faster. I love that 7th, that F. Hit it with your second finger now. Now we're going to go back to positional plane and go to the E. F, G, E, or sorry, F, E, F. Hey, James. Hey, Rick. So we're doing that first scale up to the G Mixolydian. We're just working on the middle 2 strings. That's all we're going to learn today. The middle 2 strings of each of these scales. Okay, now go back to your B. Bend it up to that C, or hammer it on. You notice I changed my fingers for that. I can use my pinky, but it just doesn't feel as confident as the first finger. Okay, play. I love this. It's kind of like a mini, like a Mixolydian pentatonic shape, but go C, B, G, F. Eric Johnson uses this scale a lot. Exactly, John. Now the B flat would be one exception. We could sit on that one. Creates definitely a stank face. Screen cap. But there's a chromatic. I can use it as a chromatic, that B flat. Same thing with the F to the G. I can use the F sharp. You wouldn't want to sit on that F sharp. Not good. But for some reason, in a little bit, it's kind of like salt. Just a little bit of salt, not too much salt. You can use it going backwards. Whereas that note is not in that scale. So let's just play that section of that scale, okay? We got E, so first finger, second finger, 4, second, first, 3, 4. Okay. So all I'm playing is that G Mixolydian scale. I'm only playing the middle 2 strings. Okay, focus on that. Try to look at that. Go. You'll see the one red note there. This red note here is a red note. The G's are all red notes. And some of the notes are going to sound better than others, like this. That C kind of sounds, it wants to go down to that B. The A wants to go up to the B or down to the G. Okay. The E wants to go down to the D, but that's out of our scale. But the E is fine. It sounds very scientific, actually, the scale. And I love the B to C. And resolve to the G. So there's a million different variations right there. Okay, let's do the next. We got 23 watching. Let's do the next section, the C chord. Okay. So the snippet of the C Mixolydian we're going to use again, same 2 strings. Okay. Oh, also the thing I didn't point out is do you see the tritone? Our guide tones, our G7 guide tones right there in that G Mixolydian thing. It's the 3rd fret of the 4th string and 4th fret of the 3rd string. And so there's our F and our B, which were the F is the 7th of the G7 chord, and the B is the 3rd of it. Don't worry, there will not be a quiz on this. Take a sip. You can order that mug anytime you want. So so you can see that. Okay, now when we go to the C7, which is the one below the G Mixolydian, or when we're going to the C7 chord, okay, we're going to go to the G7 chord. The tritone that created the guide tones, okay, this is a tritone, this interval, and then if we go down 1 fret, so we're at the 2nd fret and the 3rd fret. 2nd fret is E and 3rd fret is B flat. That is our 3rd and our 7th of the C7 chord. In fact, if you play a C7 chord, you can see that right there. Just like when you play this G7 chord, you can see that tritone right there. Okay, so there it is. So if I were to play, let me get rid of the piano so we can just have bass and drums. Right? That's all you need. That implies the C7 chord because the bass player is playing the C, and you don't really ever need a 5th. The 5th is the first thing you get rid of when you're trying to simplify chords. So let's look at this scale now. The C Mixolydian scale there at the bottom one. It's starting at the 2nd fret. Again, we're in 2nd position. We're going to go 1, 2, 4, and 1, 2, 4. So the C Mixolydian snippet, the middle 2 strings, is going to be redundant, and the D Mixolydian snippet is also going to be redundant. So that makes it easy to mess around with. We have a C right here. There's the root. Okay, so let's mess around with that. I'm going to put the piano back in. Turn it down a little bit. So here's your C. Play the B flat. Simple as that. I'm using the bottom scale. Just playing the 3rd fret on the 3rd string. Let's go B flat to A, like that. It's kind of cool. It's between the 6th and the 7th. Hey, Jan. Get up to that. Play that C every now and then, so people know that you know you're playing over a C7 chord. And again, notice I'm not playing positionally here. I just slid my second finger up because it just sounds better. I use my pinky too, no problem. But space is cool. Exactly, John. Play G Mixolydian over G7, C Mixolydian over C7, D Mixolydian over D7. You have all three chords represented up there. And this is cool. You got here, you got the 5th, the 4th, and the 3rd. Play that E note right there, 5th. First finger on the 2nd fret of the 4th string. Gotta get all those numbers right. You want to get that flat. That E flat would be the kind of the minor pentatonic over the C. But we can slide into that. Go 1st fret to the 2nd fret. And we go from there to the 7th. Cool, right? There's your guide tones right there. Go up to the C. A little bit of a reach, but it's nice. Do it faster. Go. It's like going. Same as that. So I went flat 3 to 3rd to 7th, root to 7th. Okay, again, let me review that, turn off that annoying, redundant C7 chord. Sorry, it's instructive. Review the two scales so far. So the snippet of the G7, or the G Mixolydian scale, that we're using, and again, we're just sticking to the middle 2 strings, the 4th string and the 3rd string, is 4th fret, 3rd fret, 5th fret, so I'm sorry, 2nd fret, 3rd fret, 5th fret, 2nd fret, 4th fret, 5th fret. Or you can take 1, 2, 4, 1, 3, 4. That was the G7. The G Mixolydian, all we're going to do is we're going to lower that B down to B flat, and we get this. We get a more symmetrical, more redundant pattern. Okay? Scale's the same. It's the same formula for both the scales. It's just here in this snippet of it, it looks a little different. So we're going to go 2, 3, 5, 2, 3, 5, or 1, 2, 4, 1, 2, 4. And again, these are bite-sized chunks. This is how why I'm doing it this way. So you can kind of get a bit of the Mixolydian thing happening. If I were to have you memorize all 3 of these scales, and keep in mind this is just in the 2nd position. We may, I don't know, I may go up to the next position and do the same thing. Oh, pinch harmonics. That's just it takes a while to get, and you'll do it once, and then you'll try 100 more times and won't be able to get it. The trick is just basically to take the pick or the string off of your pick and onto the flesh of your thumb. And I've got orange. I had an orange peel on my thumb. So it works better if you use the bridge pickup too, not the neck pickup. The bridge pickup's always better for harmonics, but it's like. It's basically, I'm just really choking down on the pick, using very, very little pick, and I'm trying to get that pick to come off, the string to come off of the pick and hit the flesh. Almost hitting both simultaneously. And then you can move your pick around here to kind of find where the sweet spots are. Yeah, who made that famous? It was Billy Gibbons from ZZ Top really kind of made that thing famous. And he used a peso. So I don't know, maybe it's easier with a peso. Maybe it happens naturally with a peso. I would think so because the peso is pretty small and it's round, so you don't have a point. So that might actually have been just one of those things that just happened naturally. Hey, Gear, how's it going? Gear View Mirror. Okay, so that was the C7. That was the shape we're using over the C7. Now, the snippet that I have for the D Mixolydian, ironically, is completely every note but the D. So we don't have a root here. So you can see, and also these diagrams, I wrote okay, let me describe the diagram. Oh, thanks, Bob. The diagram, just paid for my coffee. The diagram, let's see, the diagrams are every note, there's a dot or a circle or whatever, in every possible note in that mode, in that position, okay? So with G Mixolydian, I put a dot for every G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G in the second position. The red ones are the roots. Those are all G's in the G Mixolydian case. They're all C's in the C Mixolydian case, and they're all D's if I did it right. And then the white notes are just notes that are beyond the lowest, below the lowest and above the highest root in that position. Those are all legitimate notes, totally usable notes for the scale. It's just, if you wanted to just play the scale, like the C Mixolydian one, there it be. It's right there. Okay. If you want to play the D Mixolydian, if you want to play more than an octave of D Mixolydian, you're going to have to figure out some way to get higher up the neck. And for D to go lower, you can't, because unless you drop D, you can't. But G, we have actually in this position, we have 2 octaves of G scale. So there's only one white note with the G Mixolydian because there's only one note above that the G scale in the highest G note in that position. Does that explain it? Hopefully. So my goal was to make it so, okay, if I'm going to say this is D Mixolydian, then I have to show it as D Mixolydian. If I just put black notes, made all those notes black, then I would say these are the notes in the key of D Mixolydian. And that would mean I'd have to put a lot more data or a lot more words above the diagram, so I didn't want to do that. So that's why I kind of kept it that way. Okay, the D Mixolydian snippet, well, let's spend some more, let's see. Let's do the D Mixolydian. We're going to try to pull this together, okay? And I'm going to try to make an elongated version of, it may take me a minute, but I can do it. An elongated version of the 12-bar blues. So it'll actually end up being a 24-bar blues. It'll still go by at the same tempo, but everything will be twice as long. So instead of being 1 bar of G, 1 bar of C, it'll be 2 bars of G, 2 bars of G, and then 4 bars, and so on and so forth. I'm just going to have to program it. All right. So the D Mixolydian snippet, again, like I said, that little snippet that we're doing on the middle 2 strings, here, there's no D in there. So that's a bummer. We're not going to be able to resolve it. And then let me find a D. In Logic, I'm going to bracket a D chord, which I think is here. No, here. Yeah. And that seems, I'm going to go lower on the. Nah, don't like that. If I just take the top note down. Go up to the, yeah. Now we got the third in there. That's good, actually. Let's see, where are we? Here we go. Okay. So if, what was I going to do? Oh, yeah. Okay. First off, I want you to notice is now that tritone, that guide tone, but it's also a tritone in the 7th chord. It's a tritone. The guide tone is F sharp and C. And see it there? See the little box? See that little box of notes there? The D Mixolydian at the 4th and 5th fret? There indeed is our guide tones for the D7 chord. Okay, if I take this C7 chord up 2 frets, I get these. There's my. That's all you need to imply a D7 chord. Yeah, and so I'm playing an F and a C. I'm not playing a D. There's not even a D there because why? Because our bass player is playing the D. I'll get rid of the piano. Right? That's all I need. And if you missed this, this was Friday's lesson, okay? I mean, you can solo using those 4 notes there. But we can also add these two there. So the scale snippet for the D Mixolydian is 1, 3, 4, 1, 3, 4. Note-wise, it's E, F sharp, G, A, B, C. There's a 5, 6, 7. I'm on the 3rd string. 1, 3, 4, 3. Finger-wise. Play that. It's a long journey, Meltdown. I like this. Check this. Woo, getting that 3rd in there. Okay, so I went 5, 6, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. Probably going to get a copyright infringement on that section right there. Somebody's going to go, I wrote that. Yeah, whatever. Somebody copyrighted it. Space is always good. Remember, music is all about tension and release. Whether you're writing a melody, even a lyric can have tension and create release. Chord progressions always create tension and release. We're sitting on the 5 chord right now, so that creates a certain amount of tension. We're sitting on the 7th chord, which creates tension. Okay? But something else that creates tension is silence, especially in a conversation. And essentially what you're doing when you're soloing it is you're having a conversation with the audience. It's kind of one-sided, but it's a conversation. Or maybe it's more like a lecture. See that? That's another cool trick. Watch. I'm not going to start on a downbeat. That created tension. You expecting me to start on a downbeat. Hard to talk and play at the same time. 3, 4, 1. So, and again, like that. silence creates tension. That's cool. Okay, so now this doesn't work in any other key, but we can do it in D. We can hit that open D string if we want. If we want to get that root finally in there, okay? All right, so let me go to, I could spend a lot of time on each one of these. I almost should. But we're doing little snippets because it's easier they're bite-sized pieces. It's easier to understand, I think, or at least get a grasp of. And the cool thing is you can really see, the thing I really like about this particular snippet, the snippet we're using, again, we're only using the middle two strings of these three scales, okay? We're playing the third string and the fourth string. And so look at the subtle difference, particularly from the G to the C and the G to the D. The D to the C has more changes. Two notes are changing instead of just one. But going from G Mixolydian to C Mixolydian, in fact, we should just do that. Let's go up and down the G Mixolydian snippet. Okay. Now up C. Up G, third fret, the third finger, sorry. Second finger. Okay, do you see that? Practice that little snippet. Hey, Italy! I love Italy. Love Rome. It's the only part of Italy I've ever been to. You can hear the difference. C, G Mixolydian, C. You really only notice the difference here on the third string. There's G. You can even play that snippet. You can cut the snippet in half and play one string. So on the third string, we're going second fret, fourth fret, fifth fret for G Mixolydian, and second fret, third fret, and fifth fret for C Mixolydian. Okay, I was gonna create a more elongated version of this, but let's just try this. Let's see what happens if I go ahead and play. I'm gonna turn the piano on for now. Okay, this is the C chord, G chord. Now, here's the interesting thing. If we play the fourth string, the notes don't change. The three notes in the G Mixolydian on the fourth string are identical to the three notes in the C Mixolydian. And they actually almost work better than those three notes. G and then C. You can practice. Ultimately, that's where you want to be. I can do it half as fast. That was too cute. Be like. Okay, the only note that's changing between those two scales is the B in the G Mixolydian becomes a B flat in the C Mixolydian. So let's just play that. We can take it down to one note. Right? That's the only note difference between those two scales. right there. That's the marker that says to your audience that you know what you're doing. You're making that change right there. So if I were to play over this progression, I might go really do some kind of lick that's going to highlight the fact that it's going from B to B flat. Let's go back and forth between the B and the C and the C, B flat and C. Check this out. Over the G, we're going B, C. Over the C, we're going B flat, C. You see that? It's very obvious. Down to the G. 5th fret. Okay, so that is taking that snippet, okay, noticing the difference between the G Mixolydian and the C Mixolydian. Okay, if we do the same thing between the G and the D Mixolydian, same thing, you'll notice only one note's changing, but this time the note that's changing is on the 4th string, not the 3rd string, okay? So the difference between this snippet of G Mixolydian and this snippet of D Mixolydian is that F natural now becomes F sharp when we're playing over the D7. F natural works fine over the D7 chord because it creates that blues sound. But we're talking about Mixolydian diatonic scales. So in this context, if I were to use pure... In fact, let me do this for a minute because we got a lot of new viewers all of a sudden, especially from Italy, it looks like. I'm big in Italy. 39 concurrent viewers. That's awesome. I'm glad to see you. Buongiorno. Although it's probably getting late in Italy, so... Buonasera? Is that right? Buonasera? Oh, it's been a long time. I was in Italy in 2005. I took the wife and kids there, and we loved it. We had a wonderful time. Our apartment was right by the Vatican, and we had the choice. We could get to Rome proper quickly and go through this tunnel that was full of noisy cars, or we could go the long way around, and that was to go through Vatican City and come through that whole area to get into Rome. And every day we chose to go through Vatican City. So every day we were in front of the Vatican, St. Peter's Square. We went through St. Peter's Square every day, and it was just unbelievable. It's breathtaking. Loved it. Okay, so, oh yeah, that telecast. Yeah, it's not a vintage. It's a 54 reissue, a Japanese 54 reissue. In fact, there's a couple of empty spots there because I was at a session all week last week, and some of the guitars are still in cases. Okay, so I am going to go ahead and just play over the whole blues using these scales. I may limit it to the section. I can limit it to the section here, so you guys can see maybe just how even this little snippet of the scale could be useful. So let me try to make music out of that. Okay. So this is standard blues, C chord to G7 for 2 bars. Then to the 4 chord, which is C, for 2 bars. Then to G, pretty basic blues. Now the 5 chord. To the 4 chord. Now I'm even making the chords positional. 5 chord. Now we're to the top. Even that tritone makes a good solo. G chord. Okay, you get the idea. So I really tried hard to limit. I think I did until that very last D note. I snuck out of the patterns that I told you to stay in. So I do as I say, not as I do. But ultimately, if that's where you want to go, of course, it's 100% right. There's nothing wrong with going up to that D note. In fact, like in that snippet of the D, there is no D, of the D Mixolydian. In that snippet of the G, we have a G, and in the snippet of the C that we're using, of the C Mixolydian, the middle two strings, we have a red note, which is a root. But we have no red note in that D Mixolydian snippet in the middle. Okay, that's why it's a it doesn't ever. If I use that snippet of the D, it wants to resolve. So I can use that open D string. I can hit this note. I can hit this note up here. I could go up here, which is what I did. So yeah, I mean, I'm not trying to keep you from expanding and growing. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to give you a sense of the scale, a little piece of it, so you can start working on it and see it. But if you naturally want to go somewhere to resolve something or to extend something, 100% totally correct. If it works, it works. Okay. So, Holly, I'm glad you're learning a lot. I apologize if I'm going too fast for some of you. If it's beyond to some of you, I think we started this series. What was this? Was this series started on Friday or Wednesday last week? But basically, I'm talking about using three scales to play in the blues, three Mixolydian scales for the blues. And I may extend this up the fretboard so we learn the next position and do the same kind of thing. The snippets we use may not be on the middle two strings. We may, in that case, if I'm playing up here, I might move all of that up an octave, and we would do all of these notes. In fact, all of these patterns, if you wanted to play them up an octave, you can go up 2 strings and 3 frets. There's the G, there's the C, there's the G, or D. Okay, but I don't really want to. I don't really want to touch on that today because I really want to concentrate on just this, and then probably Wednesday, if we get together Wednesday, I will probably just continue on this. Maybe we'll take. I don't know. Maybe we'll take these two. I don't know, or go up to these. I don't know. I'll figure it out, or we may just do them all. What I want to do, like I said, is kind of create a more elongated version of the blues. I'll call it elongated blues. Oh, and this is where, yeah, that's where I created that. So yeah, I can totally do it here. All right, let me take a break here. Any questions? Actually, this is probably a good stopping point on this. If I may reiterate some of this stuff or restate some of this stuff as we go. But can you talk about your sessions this week? Well, not too much. It was a writing sessions, and So it was not typical session. It wasn't where I was being hired to play guitar over pre-existing music, or sometimes you're hired to be part of a band for a session. It was more writing for an artist. I think I talked about, hey Darren, it's all right. Say hi to your dad for me. I wish I could say hi to my dad. He's been gone 9 years now, over 9 years. That's hard to believe. Gosh. I miss his voice. But yeah, so what it was basically a whole lot of people working in the studio, mostly top line people. But you know, actually, that's not true. There was someone there that was doing keyboard stuff, you know, basic starting hooks with keyboard. There was someone there starting hooks with beats or produced out tracks, kind of more sonic kind of landscapes. And then there was me doing guitar-based kind of hooks. And Friday I brought my bass 6, that's what's missing up there. I don't have my bass 6 hanging up there. And then I also brought my electric sitar, among other things, standard things. And so we actually ended up doing a hook based on the electric sitar, which is cool because that's not used very often. So that was kind of fun. So kind of my aspect of it, my role in this past week, like I said, it was mostly creating tracks for an artist. Did I say who it was on Friday? I probably did. I can't remember. And then people building on that. So a lot of times I come up with an idea, and I actually went through a bunch of. I have a lot of ideas on my phone. They could be on memos. It could be music memos, which is a really cool little tool on your iPhone. If you haven't checked out music memos, it's really cool. You just start playing and it starts recording. And you can add bass and drums to your track, and you can change. I just realized you can totally change the sound of the bass, and you can change how busy they are and everything. It's insane. I pull up something, but let's see. I have to do it with. It'd be better with acoustic. I'll show you. I'll give you an example in a second here. And then, so once we've recorded my hook, whatever it is, a lot of times with pop you're looping. So the loop could be 16 bars, it could be 4 bars, it could be 2 bars. And then they write over. And really, to be honest, when you're doing that kind of writing, the pressure is really on the top line people, because it could be the same 4 bars over and over and over again. And it won't be on the record when it's produced out. What they'll do is they may sub in some chords, or they may just make things like bare bones, so it's only drums at one point, or bass only, or full, you know, it could go back and forth between all those things. So it won't sound like, sometimes it sounds like the same thing over and over again, but oftentimes they'll use production magic to kind of make things more interesting as the song progresses. But it's really a lot of pressure on the top line people, because what they have to do is they have to create a verse sound, and usually there's a variation in the verse, and then a pre-chorus and a chorus, and sometimes a post-chorus, and sometimes a bridge. Although bridges are very uncommon in pop. I even said that I said that this week. I said, "Oh, do you need me to write a bridge?" And somebody said, "I haven't written a bridge in 10 years." So, bridge in pop is very rare. So oftentimes it's a verse, chorus, verse, maybe half verse, chorus out or something. Pop music is not, I wouldn't say it's completely formulaic, but there's definitely new formulas. It was, you know, Beatles did the AABA form, but an A could be a verse and a chorus. Like I Want to Hold Your Hand the A section was a verse and a chorus, and another verse and a chorus, and then the bridge and another verse and a chorus out. So AABA is not as common today. Very, very rare, actually. It's more break those into sections and then do them. But if you want a really good example of someone who, so my point is, which that you're trying to, Yeah, good. It's good you listened to him. With that, I'm sorry, that's a long time ago, man. Yeah, I got to, I got well into adulthood with my dad. Um, my the So that said, oftentimes once I'm done recording my little bit, and it could take literally 10 minutes from the point where they go, "Oh, that's cool," to me finishing the loop with the engineer, and we're all sitting in a room. Basically, we're in the control room together. I have my rig in the control room. We have keyboards in there. Everybody's got their laptops hooked to the thing. So it's funny because I posted a picture on my social media of the mixing board, and it's thousands of tracks, and people are like, "You don't use those tracks anymore." And with everybody plugged in, with all those inputs, we got inputs everywhere. It's like, "Oh, plug in here, plug in here." Yeah, quite a few tracks are being accessed. Maybe not all at the same time, but they're definitely needed. Many of them are. And then we got mics in the main studio, which is the big room. The big room, we had a drum set up there and a piano and an organ, a B3. We had a guitar set up for me so that I had, if I needed to do acoustic, I could go out there and do that. They had a really nice U47, like a vintage U47 for my acoustic, which I said, "Hey, you can just buy me one of these." And I didn't know they were $20,000. So no. I am thinking about upgrading my mic for this year, but I haven't decided yet. That's weird. Kind of been out of shape. So I could be done in 10 minutes, and then I may have 2 or 3 hours of kind of downtime. I won't hang out with them when they're writing the top line the whole time. So I may go upstairs and kind of work on some other. In this studio they have a lounge upstairs, so I go up there. I can order food. From any restaurant, and they'll have it brought to me. It's super luxurious. Let's put it that way. It's really nice. In fact, I found a really good. Was it a Brazilian restaurant? Yeah, it was a Brazilian restaurant. And so I've been kind of ordering food from there all week. And that's yeah, exactly. The idea is to kind of create good vibes so basically, I went upstairs. So they're working. I pop down every now and then. I'm really good linguistically. So if they're stuck on a phrase or a word, or they need a word, I can oftentimes insert, and so that's always fun when I can kind of help with the lyrics a little bit. I stay away from melody writing because these guys are all young and they really have good sense. All the writers, the girls like Strahle and Julia Michaels that I've worked with, they just have a great sense for melody. And Pooh Bear was there part of Friday, and he started working on it. And that was one of the hooks I came up with. All in all, I think I came up with 7 hooks last week for them to write over, and who knows if they'll end up on a record or not. I have no idea. We pretty much finished this lesson that I've talked about today, but this screen is probably not going to change for Wednesday. We're going to continue on this and work on these scale snippets. Yeah, and I'll be on my phone. I'm playing games, working on Duolingo, maybe coming up with some new hooks, calling people, talking, whatever. It's use different chords if you want. I'm having trouble with the 5-2 pinch. Pinching the middle those 2 strings. You can do it 2 ways, Bruce. You can do it with your thumb and 3rd finger. You could take a sip. You can take a sip because I changed guitars. Let's see. What chord can I use? I'll just use. I'll use a C7 chord. So you can do it either kind of the classical way, which is. Which would be thumb and 3rd finger plucking the 5th and 2nd string. And the reason you're having trouble with it is because it's not the outside strings. What you want to probably do is a minimal movement. Don't be too grandiose with your movement. Don't go like that. Don't pull your hand away because then you got to find your position. Just Keep it minimalistic movement. And then index, middle, thumb, third, index, middle. I doubt they played it that way. I'm thinking they probably did more of a Travis pattern, which would be this. And so it would be thumb and second finger, and then move the thumb down. So the thumb is doing that. And that's probably what they're doing. But again, don't pull your hand too far away. Just keep your hand as almost as stiff as possible. Right there in the section. Yeah, exactly. Both those songs have the same finger picking pattern. Also, kind of Blackbird also kind of has a similar pattern, but that's not. He would. He did. In retrospect, he did more of a kind of a slap thing, more of a Ed Sheeran thing, and I was always playing it like. I played it more like that, but he actually was doing. He's trying to get a backbeat going. Paul was. So, hey, try him. What's going on? So yeah, so I was. So who was it asking me? Witsed was asking me about what my session was like. One of the tools that I use, and I don't really use the drumming thing at all. Let me get my brightness up here. But if I go to Music Memos, okay, which is on iPhone, it's a free app, and this is what it looks like when you open it, okay? You see that light in the middle? Okay, you push that button, nothing happens until you start playing. Oh, well, that's not true. Look, it started recording. Okay, delete. Okay, I'm going to push the button, and then I'm going to start to play. So you can see this. Okay, I'm going to push the button. Microphone's right here. You see that? Yeah, you can kind of see it. In fact, let me aim this down a little bit. That'll be easier for both of us. Okay. Hit stop. Okay. Now look, it analyzes it. And it wrote G, E minor, A7. I don't know what these chords are, but I hit play. It's got to finish analyzing. Okay. Oh, if I tap on it. There we go. Hit play. And see, you can't really see that. It's too bright. Oh, wait. Okay, I can create a loop, I think. So if I want, I can move this. I'm not exactly sure how to do that, but there's a little button down here. It has a drum on it, drum kit, and a bass. So if I hit that, hear that? And then here I hit the bass. You probably can't hear that. But I can also, like if I hold down the drums, this little window comes up. Oh, dang it. Let's see. This window comes up. It's too much light. But I can adjust the complexity. It's kind of an XY graph thing. I can make it be toms instead of hi-hat. I can make it be crash cymbals. Ride cymbal instead of hi-hat. I could go a vintage kit. Pretty crazy. Make it really busy and loud. Do the same thing with the bass. Make the bass really. You go to upright bass. It's crazy. Now, I don't really, like I said, I don't really use that. That's the beat that they're going to create over it is not going to be anything that you want. But it is kind of a great way to capture instead of using the regular memos to do it with the music memos. It's just a little different, and you got more options. You can change the chords, edit chords. You can do you can print it, I think. What's this? Oh yeah, trim idea. Yeah. So here's the idea. So if I trim it like that, that's right, and then trim it there. Trim. Save as new idea, whatever. Now it'll loop. Seamlessly, really. It analyzes the tempo and everything, assuming you're playing in tempo. It analyzes it, and your drummer will stick with you, and the bass player will stick with you. It's really cool. It's a cool tool, and it's free. It comes with the iPhone, so if you may not even know it's sitting there. But it's called Music Memos. Well, Triumph, I feel like you did it phonetically, so you helped me out there. You put your name in phonetically. Yeah, it was. Yeah. Oh, the dust in the wind pattern does take a minute to get down. Although I would teach it to beginners, and beginners can get it. It would be literally probably top 4 or 5 lesson, one of the first 5 lessons. The app is called Music Memos, and it comes with the iPhone. It's an Apple app that's. So if you don't have an iPhone, I don't know if you can download it or not. You might be able to, but it's free. It doesn't cost anything. It comes with the iPhone. Wits End. That's the. So last week's session was, and I may be doing more this week. I may go in today. I don't think so. I think I'm gonna chill out today. After this, I'm gonna maybe I don't know. I may practice my flamenco. I've been wanting to practice my flamenco. I love practicing. It's like that's for me a holiday. I love it. Trying to get down those Gypsy King patterns. Oh, bummer! It's not for Android. Bummer. I'm sure there's something very, very similar. Let's see. Let's Google this. Oh, speaking of, let me give you guys these diagrams are up. Diagrams are up on the Discord. I'm going to post a Discord link. This is a Discord link. You can join the Discord. It basically, what we do at Discord is they continue oftentimes a discussion about what I'm talking about. I'm rarely there, although I do upload every document, every diagram that I create for the live stream, I put there so that you guys can download it and use it, whatever. I will try to create I'll try to create a blues jam. I may do 2 of them. I don't do a lot of videos, so I'm not too worried about it sending too many notifications. But oftentimes when I post too many videos at once, I get a lot of unsubscribers because people don't want all that notification. I'm not very good at that, Wits End. The idea is to create a kick and a snare. So if you hit right on the bridge, you get a nice, on a flamenco guitar, you get a nice, okay. Oh, well, I know what I'm doing today. I got a session now. So, let's see. I got to re-record something I did, some heavy metal thing I did. Hopefully, well, I should be able to find it. You hit there, you get a nice kick drum sound. I can tell I'm clipping the microphone. And then if you hit here, it's not as good. You really want to hit more over the sound hole because the strings then go down and hit the frets. Yeah, there's a lot of great flamenco videos, Mr. Benny, but none of them are by me. So, but the pattern I'm doing after that, so that's the main thing you want to get down is the kick, snare. And then after you do your kick, you just swipe up the strings. The reason it's hard to get right on there is because you want to be able to strum the strings, but it's better if you get, so it's going to be a quiet note, but that's okay. And then it's fingers up and then fingers down and thumb up. So you can practice that. You can practice all the elements. And you just alternate that. You go kick, fingers up, fingers down, thumb up, snare, fingers up, fingers down, thumb up. And so you use that, you use the fingers up, fingers down, thumb up as your transition back and forth between the two. So you're kind of, it looks crazy because you're using those elements of the strumming pattern to get from the kick to the snare, right? No, Bruce, I haven't actually created it yet. I have to create it. What I have to do is I have to copy what I've been playing over, that blues thing. There is one, but it's in the key of E. So for these specific scales, I need to do the G one. So I may do two, Bruce. I may do one that's just 12-bar blues, and I may do one that's elongated, where you're sitting on every chord twice as long. Okay, does that make sense? Yeah, it's a Gypsy Kings thing. I'm trying to get some of those elements in. I can't do it. At that tempo, it's really hard. They'll go back and forth like this. And then they'll throw in and they keep going, that kind of stuff. This is not happening yet. But that's the kind of stuff I love to practice. And I'm always afraid I'm going to cave in this guitar, but the flamenco guitars are kind of made for that. So they're a little bit hardier. The wood's harder wood. You know, a lot of times it's a... too many things to think about. Shoot, it's hard work too. It's hard work. Oh man, I don't know how they'll do it for a 3-hour set. It's like, oh my gosh, my arm would fall off in about 20 minutes, I think. But it is fun to play. I've done it in a couple sessions, but I'm not getting called for those sessions. I do a lot of Latin records, but there's a guy in town that does all of that kind of stuff. So they call him for that. I'm more for the pop stuff, you know, the rock, the pop, the acoustic guitars, finger picking stuff. What can we do about ninth chord? You know, ninth chords or 9 chords. There's difference. Like if I were to say G9 is different than G/9. The G/9 would be, so G9 would be G, B, D, F, A. Okay? That's everything from G to the 9th. skipping every other letter. G9 would be, or G/9, or I call it a G2 chord, G, B, D, A. See the difference between those the two chords? Yeah, so G9 would be G, B, D, F, A. It's a G7 with a ninth. G add 9 would be a G chord with a ninth added, which would be just adding an A. G major 9 would be a G major 7 chord, G, B, D, F sharp, A. So that would be a G major 7 chord with a ninth added. How can you create chord progressions? Well, I mean, you just start out, you create chord progressions by just going to the key, whatever key you're in, and then just start messing around with the chords in the key. So you have in the key of G, since you brought up G, or no, I guess I brought up G. Since I brought up G, you have G is the 1 chord, A minor is the 2 chord, B minor is the 3 chord, C is the 4 chord, D is the 5 chord. We talked about this. If you go to the Discord, let's see, okay. If I go to, where did I place that list? Here it is. Let's see. Chord theory, blues basics. Okay. So if you look lessons copy on my YouTube channel, if you go to my live stream tab, you can look at and try to find, those are some lessons. So lesson 18, 19 with chord theory, lesson 20 through 21 with circle fifths, and I went back to chord theory, then I went to Ask Me Anything, then I went back to chord theory. So I had several videos of chord theory, and then I did a series on chord progressions, which was lesson 69 through 76. And that would answer some of your questions on how to create chord progressions. But it's funny because in pop music, oftentimes, in like the key of G, a million pop songs use the same chord progression. So it's a matter of making it interesting. And that would be a 6, 4, 1, 5 progression, meaning I'm playing the 6th chord in the key of G, the 4th chord in the key of G, the 1 chord, which is G, in the key of G, and then the 5 chord. And so what you can do is, you can create a chord progression. Paul McCartney, the Beatles did it with Here, There, and Everywhere. They did 1, 2, 3, 4. Literally. What's his name? Ed Sheeran did 1, 3, 4, 5, and promptly got sued by the estate of what's his name? Marvin Gaye estate. Bunch of waste-away people, I'm sure. They've only lived off of Marvin Gaye's labor, his brilliant frickin' labor, and they just sue everybody because they don't have enough money. Never mind. You know how I feel about it. It's like, get a job. Because you really should not be able to copyright a chord progression or a vibe even. You can copyright lyrics as long as the lyric isn't I love you. You can't copyright that, although I'm sure somebody's tried. You can copyright melodies, but I don't think you can copyright chord progressions. You can copyright a riff, a hook riff. I had to mess it up just so I don't get copyright. But, hey, Avito. So, yeah, you can copyright riffs because that's a hook. But, like you could start, like Beat It, you could do a song, you could write a song based around the riff Beat It, you're going to get a copyright problem. You're going to have copyright problems because that's copyrightable, that hook. But you could write around the chords. You can't really copyright that one. Or somebody would have sued Michael Jackson. Day Trip Up, exactly. So chord progressions, yeah. As far as writing chord progressions, you just what you do. You could do it without a guitar. You don't need an instrument. You can sit down and go write down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then just write different four groupings of them, like a 1, 2, 3, 4. There's one. There's a chord progression right there. Right, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's another chord progression. Right, 3, 4, 5, 6. That would be. And some kid who's a great top line writer can take that and turn it into a great melody. And somebody can take that and turn it into a song. You could have a chord progression that's 1, 3, 5, 2. You could just mix them up randomly. Write the numbers down on a piece of paper. Write down 4 of the 6 numbers groups, and then mess with the timing of it. So you could go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. But that's kind of boring. So you. So I'm pushing that one, and I'm delay pushing or whatever. So change the rhythm. Then we did this in the chord progression thing where we took the basic 1, 6, 4, 5, which was very, very common in the 50s, even in the early 60s. And then swap some of the chords. So you got 1, 6, 4, 5. Okay, so swap the 1 and the 6. So you go. Okay, so you just messed it up a little bit. So now you're not doing the standard 1, 6, 4, 5 that's been part of millions of songs. Well, so we do reverse those two, the 6 and the 1. Let's reverse the 4 and the 5. So now instead of going 4, 5, we're going to go 5, 4. Kind of a cool progression. And you can do that. Now we can swap the middle two. So instead of going 6, 1, 5, 4, we can go 6, 4, 5, 1. Well, now we're going to end up right at that top progression. Exactly. You just roll a dice. That's true. You got six chords. You could do that, although you might get six 4 times in a row. Now you're putting a lot of pressure on the top line writer. One of my favorite examples of solid top line writing is the song "Mad" by Neo. Neo is a really, really good songwriter, and he, if you listen, I can't play it right now. But don't play. Okay, good. If you listen to this, he actually has 5, actually 6 ultimately, if you include the bridge, because he did kind of put a bridge on it. He has 5 amazing melodies that you could literally take each one of those melodies and make it an entire song. He could have had 6 songs out of this. And what he did was he created these amazing melodies that just one feeds right into the next one, to the next one, the next one. It's just amazing. He's so prolific with melodies. Let's see. Okay. Yep. Just consider you're right. Avito, there you go. 6P4. That's right. Yeah. And then Avito, we talked about, and that's just within those, although one of those progressions might be 4 E chords, E minor chords. So that might not quite work, but it might be not quite as 360 progressions. But also we could talk about, the Beatles did this a lot. They took the 4 chord and they went minor, right? So they went. And that chord is not in the key. So when we talked about chord progressions, I did that whole series on that. We started with being in the key and keeping it simple, and then we started going, okay, what's what can we do? How can we mess this up? We did remember that we did the 5 of the 5, and then we did the 5 of the 5 of the 5, and then we did the 5 of the 5 of the 5 of the 5, which is, I think, why I got off on the tangent of having to teach the, oh no, that was before the circle of fifths. But anyway, fortunately we had the circle of fifths lesson before I did that. Let's see. Okay, Holly, what did you say here? Mr. Benny said, I remember what worked best playing just till it hurt and then stop for a while. Come back for a few minutes. Same thing. It hurt, stop. Oh, somebody has problems with it. Oh, did I post? I did post that video. Okay. No worries. Go Witsen. Watch the pedal show. Is that live? Maybe I'll join you. I'm going to sign off here in a second anyway. So Wednesday, I'm probably going to we're going to do a little bit more on the G Mixolydian, D Mixolydian, C Mixolydian. And we will probably get, like I said, get a little deeper. We might reiterate some of the stuff we've already done, but just have fun with it. And then hopefully, maybe Bruce, I will try to have a video up with the jam so you guys can use it to practice with, because I know that helps. Okay, all right. And was it Bob? Thanks for the coin. Thanks for buying me coffee. Appreciate it. Yeah, Bob, thanks for buying me coffee. I appreciate that. All right, guys, I'll see you on Wednesday, Lord willing. Okay, God bless you all. Take care. Be safe. Don't get the COVID. Or if you get it, just have a mild case, if it's up to you. Okay. All right. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye. Thanks, Roger.